After 1 year and 6,200 miles, this is my review on the Tiger 900 GT Pro. Meerkat. Well, I've ridden this bike in the rain, I've ridden it in the snow, I've ridden it 1,800 plus miles. I've ridden it in the summertime 1,000 miles. And I've ridden it on mountain roads. These are some of my thoughts. Just a brief recap on the mileage, 1,800 miles in over 6.5 days. Didn't ever have any problems. The bike averaged 48.5 miles a gallon, between 60 and 75 miles an hour. Tank range is easy, 230 to 250 miles. No problems at all. What was really a pleasant surprise was being able to go 1,800 miles without having to lube, adjust the chain at all. It came back very nice. Another little surprise was it wasn't really surprised that the bags were able to hold everything we wanted. And we would put the rain gear right on top, and we had enough for 6.5 days. We even had more room than that, more than we needed. Like I said, I've taken more than a few trips last winter on this Tiger. Found it very comfortable to ride. Here's one of the clips. Not the best place to turn around, but I think you'll see why when I go back through here. The weather in 2021 is now starting to change, and I expect to get some of this weather here pretty soon. The bike's not a drag bike, but it'll run a 12.3 to 12.5 quarter mile. Handles the curves pretty well too. Late in August, I took my nephew and we rode around Idaho with the bike in dead summer. It was pretty hot and really enjoyed it. Spent about 1,000 miles on the bike. I paid going out here with $737.15. I should kind of show you that on the deal in the breakdown, but most of it, almost all of it was labor to bike apart to do that. So you can see I circled the 4.9 hours of labor to do this. It's $588, so that's the majority of the cost. I think I've got probably another couple thousand miles left in the back tire for sure. It's somewhere around, it's almost 3 millimeters there to the wear bar. In the front, it's a little less. I don't know if you can see it here very well, but I think it's about a little less than 2 millimeters. So I'll probably be changing tires. I do that. It's not that I'm dissatisfied with these, but I might try something different. As you can see, I've done quite a few things on-road, but nothing off-road. We'll be changing that this coming year with Mr. Bill. We'll do this off-road stuff. Here's some things I liked and don't like and things I've changed. For sure, the front fender needed to be longer because of all the muck getting thrown up on the exhaust pipes up front. So fender extender from Pyramid Plastics, and also got one from the Hugger for the back for the same reason. It chain guard and fender combination. A couple of things I do like. The metal aluminum saddlebags are really easy to use and carry out a ton of stuff. I don't use the top case much, but I do use the saddlebags a lot. The center stand is also a blessing. It's very easy to use and get the bike up on to do maintenance. The third thing I hear that I didn't think I'd like would be the TFT interconnect, so I can call my wife or she can call me. I've used it quite a bit actually. Another surprise for me is the TFT. Not a big TFT fan generally, but I found this very useful in the dark mode. I prefer that to the light mode, and I use the RPMs at the top since the little wing ones are difficult to see. I bought this Triumph air deflector and thinking I might need it for the when I was riding 2-up, but that was not necessary. Although I keep the deflector on, I just push the windscreen a little farther down. But if you're over 6 foot, you may need those extra couple inches. The wind deflector would help. The next piece I didn't think I would use is the tire pressure monitor system, but it's come in handy. I do like that. I do like that the valve stems on this bike are easy to get at and air up the front and rear tire, so I do like that part too. I bought the radiator screens before they got the extension for the front fender. Since I got the front fender extension, I don't think I'd really buy the radiator screens again. The next two items I would recommend buying: Speedo Angels for the protecting the TFT, and the Triumph OEM part for protecting the headlights. Very wise investments. 2 out of the 3 of the next items I've never had before: the shift assist, and I found I really like that, especially with the passenger, and the cruise control. Never had one of those, and that's the only way to go on a long trip. The heated hand grips, of course, are great. Love them. And of course, my wife really liked the heated seat when we took her 1,800-mile trip. Switches are much better to have than having to scroll through a bunch of TFT screens to find lights and heated seats. The bike has really good wind protection, and it starts with a windscreen you can adjust up and down. Already talked about the wind deflector. While these plastic hand guards won't provide much protection if you fall, they do provide pretty good protection against the wind. Besides the heated seat, the good thing about this seat, it's flat and doesn't push your passenger forward, and it has very good handholds, and my wife really did like riding on the back of this bike. The next couple of things are electronic controls for the rear suspension that you get on the GT Pro for preload and dampening, setting it up for luggage or single. That's pretty nice. I don't know that's a not have-to-have thing. I think the manual will be just fine, and you can get that on the GT. One of the outstanding attributes of this bike is a rider's triangle: the seat, the handlebars, and the foot pegs. You get a generous 21.5 inches from the seat to the foot peg, which is great for me, and the seat is very comfortable besides being heated. The center of gravity on this bike, despite having a 5-gallon gas tank up high, it feels low, especially compared to the 800 Tiger. Range on this bike is an easy 250 miles, even fully loaded 2-up. I haven't found the need to test these lower and upper crash bars yet. When me and Mr. Bill go off-roading, I can tell you if they work if we happen to have a tip over. What I can tell you is these front brakes are really great, very progressive without being too touchy, and their rear brake is very good also, and I use a rear brake a lot to settle a bike in cornering. Here's a feature I do not like: that single asymmetrical looking headlight, when 2 headlights look much better. The light's good on one, but 2's better. Here's a complaint you hear: the hot air coming off of on both sides of the vents here, making your knee hot. If you're very tall, like 6'2" or 6'3", and long legs, that may affect you. But for me, you can see in the second picture that my knee is far enough away that I didn't feel the temperature even in hottest weather. Here's one thing I did find out when I was touring with 2-up on it: the side stand is so long that when I have 2 people on it, I couldn't actually put the side stand down without it leaning towards the brake side to do that, and that felt a little uncomfortable for me. But solo riding is just fine. Another irritant for me is how this joystick is the bottom here, how close it is to the turn signals. It really does interfere with using the turn signals. Even after a year, I still haven't got used to that. I mentioned earlier that I didn't really think it was necessary for electronic suspension, but if you do have one, you want to make sure you get that hugger to prevent that crud from hitting in those electronic components on the rear suspension. I haven't seen the need to get a new exhaust system. It's pretty quiet, but it's not a bad noise, it's not a good noise. Mr. Bill's going to get something, and we'll see how that sounds. I will mention on the cruise control, when you're riding 2-up, it's better to give it a little throttle before you disengage using the cruise control. It keeps from jarring the passenger. I've spent about 10 minutes and I haven't talked anything about vibration because, quite frankly, there's anything to talk about. I think it's whatever vibration issues people have mentioned between the 800 and the 900 are inconsequential and aren't really a story at all. Next year, Mr. Bill's going to take his red Tiger there, and I'm going to take my one black one, and we're going to do a little bit of, I wouldn't say off-roading, but some dirt roads and gravel roads and see how the bikes are. And we'll report back to you. Before I leave, I have to mention that this is one of the great bikes that I've ever had. It does everything, and every day I like it more and more. It's not a flash bike. It's not the most high-performance bike. You might have to downshift if you're passing a couple cars and you're loaded two up. This is one of the bikes that if you buy it, you will never regret buying it. It just does everything so well. Join me and my friends at Flat Cap Cafe Racer for riding and racing. Please subscribe.